Hey y'all, I'm back. I told y'all I'm trying. I told y'all. So today I wanted to talk about my spiritual hot takes. Mercury retrograde, probably not the greatest time to write this or do this, but why not? Why not? It's for my YouTube fam. So my spiritual hot takes start with, I think that divination is one of those things that has really just done a lot. All different types of divination, right? It readings, yes or no's with the little rods on TikTok. It's getting a little out of control. The general readings and stuff like that. Like, I just personally, because I engage in it, I see it on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok, but I know a lot of the girls get that on TikTok, Instagram with the reading and stuff. And I just feel like it's one of those things that has really just lost its sacredness and lost its occultness. Like, everybody picks up a deck, right, and just starts reading, and it's like, some of y'all are not called to do that. Yeah, some of y'all really just be getting over on the girls because it's something to do, and that's not, you gonna learn, and as you do learn, because you see people start this stuff all the time, and then they get missing because they can't keep up with it. But divination is not for everybody. I don't think that is the easiest place to start in terms of, spirituality, and I wish that the girls would just leave it to the girls it's supposed to be for. Not everybody needs to be a reader, a tarot card reader, a psychic, intuitive. You could just be something else. You might be better off with, conjuring or manifesting and working your own shit instead of trying to be in other people's shit. You know what I mean? So I just feel like divination really has lost its luster because the girls are just doing any fucking thing. You know what I mean? They just doing anything. Next, personally, another one is candle work. As somebody who thoroughly enjoys a candle, I have one going right now. I thoroughly enjoy them. I just feel that's another thing that has gotten out of hand and went pretty rampant in the community, where the girls think that a candle is going to stop everything. You know what I mean? Or you get your feelings and you're ready to send, light a candle. And sometimes, sister, we really just need to practice emotional regulation and maybe talk to the lady, i.e. the therapist. Could be a guy too. Just talk to somebody who is a mentally trained professional, instead of going to the Botanica, getting on Etsy or whatever, and just getting somebody to do anything, because those things have greater implications or greater issues. You know what I mean? And I just think everything is not a candle. You know what I mean? We really just need to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we really need to get with, a seasoned practitioner and really have a conversation. You know what I mean? Any seasoned practitioner is going to perform consultative things. They're going to ask you some questions. They're going to look into it before they sign their name on that candle. You know what I mean? Or do that work for you. Same thing for you as a solo practitioner. If you're going to do these workings, you need to be having consultations with your spirits, and that doesn't have to be via cards, shells, whatever it is you're into. Sometimes you need to just pray on it and see if them people work. Okay? Everything ain't a candle, and everybody is not a candle worker. Just because you get a candle down to the Walmart and light it up don't mean it's gonna work. Okay? You need to know what you're doing. So candles are not for everybody. That's a hot take that I have. Like, I just feel like I'm seeing too many people popping up. Well, here's a candle service for this, here's a candle service for that, and I'm just like, yikes. I wouldn't buy it, but none of my business. I just run my race. Now the next one is this is going to just ruffle a couple feathers. I personally feel like not everybody needs to be initiated. As a practitioner who is working within the ATRs, the girls, honestly, not everybody needs to be initiated, especially if you are not indigenous to that practice, right? So specifically speaking, right, if I am not Haitian, I probably would not seek out a hooligan or somebody to do those works, right? Or a mumbo, rather. I would not seek that out to start in that pantheon because I am not indigenous to it, right? Just because I'm Black American does not mean I'm indigenous to all of these practices, okay? Black, fine. American is its own thing. We all Black, but we not at the same time, okay? So the diaspora has things to service everybody. So I don't understand why people feel the need to initiate into things that may not align with who they are and where they are indigenous to. Also, when speaking about getting into these other practices and things where you're not indigenous, you leave yourself open to be misled, manipulated, and taken advantage of, because there's often language barriers, right? For our Afro-Latina communities with Lucchini, or if you want to get into Santeria and all that, a lot of that is based in Spanish. If I'm a Black American, that's not my first language. So I'm already behind. I'm already could be misled because I don't know any Spanish. If I'm going into a Spanish botanica, I'm already on 10 because I don't know what none of this shit say. So could it say cleansing on there? Yes. But is it really cleansing? Same thing, we getting readers from those practitioners and their botanicas and things like that. We have a language barrier. So what you're saying could be something completely different than what I'm interpreting, right? Even if you have an interpreter, I have to watch you as well because you're invested in where you work. You're not invested in my journey. Same thing for those in IFA. If I'm going to go to the mat and I'm getting OB done, I don't speak any African language or dialect. As a solo person or somebody who is not just experiencing this and trying this out, I have no clue what that says on that mat. I cannot confirm or deny. None of that. So you have to be mindful, and that's why I was saying everybody does not need to be initiated in order for you to get the success that you are seeking in your spiritual journey. And it's a hot take because the girls love an initiation. They love it. And it's just like, I'll be like, damn, that's crazy. Like, it's just so much shit out here for you, right? And you just be looking right past it because it doesn't come with what you consider to be appropriate. I don't know. The girls are scary. So don't be playing around with the ATRs. I'm not against people getting initiated. Some people do have callings on their life. Some people are of mixed race or mixed descent, where you might be a Haitian American, right? So you are a Black American technically, but you have descent in Haiti. So yes, you could be called to become a mumbo, and that's none of my business. But for a regular Black American, I'm a Black American through and through. That just doesn't, it sounds crazy to me to go to a Santeria house and say I want to be initiated in Santeria. I do not speak Spanish. I'm not Afro-Latina. I do not have any Latin or Hispanic blood running through my veins. So I would not know what they're doing, So be mindful when you're trying to start these practices. Hence why we're going to the second one. Or next one is ancestors are first in everything that you do. Okay. The girls love to skip an ancestor. They feel like it's very low. It's very beneath them. And it's insane. Because if you hadn't took the time to know who you were, you might have wasted less money, energy, and been harmed less. If you put your ancestors first, or you put them people that are in your line first, they are always your first line of defense. Again, speaking of, back to the previous hot take where everybody don't need an initiation, if I know my family and I know their origins, it might be easier to discern if Haitian voodoo is okay for me, if Ifa is okay for me, if Santeria is okay for me, if Palo is okay for me, because I know my origins. Yeah. You see how that works? You're never going to be able to go across. Even spiritualist or I can't even get it out. But even being a spiritualist, right, and you're working the table, an abovera, that is also of Hispanic and Latin, right? Speaking Spanish, right? If I don't have that, why would you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to know, you got to have a conversation with your folks to see, because you need to be able to substantiate what these people are telling you. So if I'm getting Misa, for example, and spirits is telling them all this stuff, I don't know. How can I confirm or deny that you actually was mounted by my spirits? Quickly. You wouldn't know. That could be anybody's spirit in the room, and they're directing it at you. Why would that spirit know about my family? Because my family shouldn't be telling my family, nobody that's not my family, nothing. But if I had to took the time to build that relationship with my family and had a conversation with them, where I know it's them, we got a code word. We have certain language. we have a certain way of saying things where if I'm in a Misa, I can definitely substantiate my folks are coming through. Right? And this is a message for me, not just can be generally applied to the room. So there's just, like I said, there's different little safety techniques and shit that people just be missing because they don't want to deal with their ancestors. And you need to clock in, sweetheart. Clock in. Because they sick of y'all. And I know because I talk to them often. But, like I said, those are my hot takes. I know the last one was going to ruffle the girls, especially the ATR was going to ruffle the girls because the girls love an initiation. They love an initiation. They love it. They love a sacrifice. And I'm like, sister, sometimes they don't even call for that. You could have just sat your raggedy ass down with them people and lit a white candle and went about your business. And it would have been handled, but you wouldn't know that because you so busy trying to be in part of what everybody else doing instead of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So those are my spiritual hot takes. Let me know if any of those ruffled your feathers below. Or if you have any down, just drop them down below because we can have a chat. Because you already know. I'm real different over here. Okay? We operate real differently over here. So you let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can actually see when the videos are here because the videos are coming.